I feel like we did not give enough love to the letter Q, quercetin, from a few weeks ago. So I wanted to touch a bit more on all of the properties of quercetin. First off, it is a hydrophobic, so water phobic, water hating, therefore fat loving, plant pigment or coloring, also called a flavanol, found in certain foods like cherries, broccoli, onions, and citrus fruits. Quercetin has 5 properties that I really wanted to hone in on. The first is that it's an antioxidant, meaning that it attacks free radicals or harmful cells. So free radicals are basically cells that lack one electron, meaning they're like bing, 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 just constantly causing chaos and instability all throughout the body. So they are known to damage your hardworking or properly acting cells. These free radicals are also often associated with chronic diseases such as like cancer, Alzheimer's, cardiac diseases, and unfortunately they can harvest themselves in a multitude of ways, from smoking cigarettes to poor air pollution to poor diet. So therefore, antioxidants, that I know it's like a buzzword these days, but quercetin is an antioxidant or has antioxidant properties, meaning they can attack these free radicals and mitigate their ability to cause chaos all throughout the body. So another noteworthy property of quercetin is that it is an anti-inflammatory. That is another buzzword these days, I feel. But basically, when parts of our body are exposed to pathogens or what our body perceives as harmful or irritating stimuli or substances, there are 2 different types of biological responses. So one is innate. That means that you're born with it. This type of immunity basically keeps out invaders by, examples are like coughing, producing tears, perhaps to get like eyelashes out, sweat, the acidity in your stomach that helps churn your food, mucus that you have in your mouth, swelling, so on and so forth. The second type of biological response is acquired. So this just means that as opposed to being born with it, your body post-exposure or after being exposed will develop antigens to things like chickenpox, coronavirus, the common cold, things like that. So it basically develops responses when it senses these invaders that it's now familiar with. So quercetin is an anti-inflammatory, meaning that it has magic powers to relax the body's immune response, either innate or acquired, so that we're not constantly overwhelmed, stressed, swelling, red, irritated, all of that jazz, because most diseases are often the result of inflammation, either outside or inside the body. So anti-inflammatories are really in charge of maintaining that homeostasis or that balance so that we feel nice and content and even on the scale. Also, this is extremely important. We do have some veggie posers that are out there oftentimes parading as vegetables, but in reality, they're fruits. These are tomatoes, squash, cucumber, avocados, okra, eggplant. Okay, the third property that I want to touch on that quercetin, third magic power that quercetin has, is that, as we learned in letter L, lipoproteins are the basically Uber drivers of fat and cholesterol throughout the body. As we know, fat can be harmful. It can also, and moreover, be extremely helpful. So not only in brain health, but also hormone production, and it can actually help insulate our organs. So the harmful types of lipoproteins, called LDLs or low density lipoproteins, can actually clog your arteries. What quercetin can do is actually make your blood vessels and capillaries a little bit more flexible and more malleable, allowing them more plasticity to separate when there is clogging so that blood can continue flowing through. A third property of quercetin is that, as we touched on, quercetin is a flavanol. So a third property of this type of category is that it can enhance the strength and thickness of our mucus lining. So there's an extremely thick layer of mucus that surrounds our GI tract, so small intestine, large intestine, basically where our food passes through. The mucus that lines our intestinal tract basically helps ease food along, preventing more GI discomfort. So what quercetin and flavonols as a whole can do is that they can thicken and increase the integrity of that mucosal lining. Basically, it also helps protect your intestines from ulcers and or certain types of infections. So it's very key to thicken that mucus lining.